Yes, in Haiti, please mind your business. Story time. This one is brought to you by my uncle. This is a Lougawou story, so things might get a little weird, but bear with me. So this lady, we're gonna call her Katya, okay? She is a SW. If you don't know what a SW is, just look it up. But that night, she was out on the street, running the streets, trying to sell some pussy. She was standing out there all day. She ain't had no customers. So it's getting late and she's like, you know what, maybe I should leave. But right at the moment that she's thinking that she's gonna leave, this guy in this rich, expensive car pulls up. And for that time, for somebody to have a car like that, that meant that that person had money, okay? It meant that that person meant business. So the car rolls up in front of the SW and he's like, yo, how much for? And she gives him the prices. Depending on what you want, I can provide it for you. He wanted to take her home. He didn't want service on the spot. So he wanted to take her to his house. So she agreed. She gets in his car and they start to drive away. Now the guy, there's really nothing suspicious or off-putting about him, considering like she's a SW. She's used to weirdos. She's used to creeps. So this is like, there's nothing standing out about this guy. He's on the steering wheel and she's next to him on the passenger seat. So they're driving, and yeah. And at some point, it looks like this driver is like basically falling asleep. Like he's just disassociating from the wheel and he looks like he's tired. She doesn't think anything of it and they keep going. They get a little bit further down the road. She saw something from her peripheral morph. So she does one of those and notices that the man who was driving the car turned into a dog with his two front paws on the wheel. This SW is witnessing a dog driving a car when a few seconds before it was a man. So the SW proceeds to take out her cigarette. She had a cigarette like in the back of her ear. She proceeded to take out the cigarette. She lights up the cigarette and starts to smoke. As she lights her cigarette, she starts to chant. She says, "Moi-même c'est petit Jacques Maget mieux. Pita moye Jacques Maget." Jacques Maget is a Loire, and he don't play about his children, so I think that was just her reinforcing her protection. After she says that like 3 times, Jacques Maget c'est petit tout, the freaking dog next to him looks like something startled the dog, and the motherfucker started morphing back into a human. And now it's back to a man driving the car. Now, of course, the story does not end here. The man looks over to her and says, "I feel weird. Did you see anything weird? Do you feel anything weird?" The SW, looking straight ahead at the road, says, "Nope." He said, "You didn't sense anything?" She said, "No, I've just been in this car smoking a cigarette." She said, "Why? You feeling something?" He says, "Yeah, I felt a little weird, so I just wanted to know if you saw something, if you felt anything." She said, "Nah, I ain't see nothing. Must be something in the air." He proceeded to drive all the way to his house. She got there and was absolutely horrified. So while the guy went to go take a shower, she went into his kitchen, grabbed a knife, and kept it underneath her pillow. The whole time she was laying down like this, one arm underneath the pillow, holding on to the weapon. She would go on and do the do. She held on to that knife whole time, just in case. After they were done, it was way too dark and way too late for her to leave anyway. So she proceeded on staying the night, but she did not sleep all night. All night, she had that one hand under that pillow. The next morning, they woke up, he paid her, and she went on her way. But I was like, wait a minute, she went through with it? And she had to. If she had switched up anywhere in that timeline, that would have been it for her. Anyway, if you guys like these spooky Haitian stories, you can expect that I will be dropping another story time tomorrow. And I have an entire playlist of like 40 something videos, so go ahead and check them out. Go ahead and leave me a follow on TikTok and on Instagram. And leave me a comment letting me know what was your genuine reaction to this story. Also, thank you guys for 50,000 followers. Hi, boo-boo.
Life is spiritual. Whether you believe it or not, whether you've seen things, never experienced things, but life is spiritual. There is more to the eyes than what we're seeing. Now, there was a video of a Haitian lady that was screaming because her son brought a cat. You could hear it in her voice, the fear that she did not want the cat. She had a valid reason. I don't know. A lot of time Haitian parents, they will tell you they don't like dogs, they don't want cats. They have a reason, which is more spirituality. Now, Haitian parents, they're not going to tell you why and when. They're not going to go into detail. They just said, I don't want it, I don't like it. But they're not going to go details and tell you why. So I remember as a child in Haiti, I was told about loi habitation, Haitian loi habitation. Every family, every Haitian have them. And as a child, I used to laugh and be tickled by that. And one of my uncles, the loi would go to him in form of a cat. And I thought that was the funniest thing, right? But as I got older, I remember, bloodline, transfers, spirituality, practice, all occult, everything, bloodline, initiation and all this stuff. It's all transferred. Okay. Now, remind you, as a child, I used to have cats, and I would go to the cats and I would get information download. Okay. This is what happened in Haiti. And it wasn't until I got older and I realized, Haitian stuff, loi habitation, people have them, they connect to them, they're not connected to them. And if you're one of those who connect to them, or they chose you, then you could have those experiences. But that was my part of experience. Now, when Haitian people tell you they don't want cats, they don't want dogs, there's a reason. Until today. I even have a voice note. I was talking to a family member. They were talking about the cats and the dogs, the loi, and as Haitians, you guys, Lougawou. And this is not a fable. This is not a fairy tale. This is true. People do turn into cats and dogs. And at nighttime, they do go into your house. And they could actually switch to cats and dogs to mimic your dogs, everything. Like, this is not a fable. This is but the thing is, she still have trauma, in the States. So she's, but the Haitian people, they're not going to tell you why. They're not going to tell you what's going on, why, but she was like livid that her son brought a cat. And she's not addressing the real issue. The real issue is she might have had an encounter or trauma experience in Haiti with cats, Lougawou, and that's why she's, feeling this way. And, the cats and dogs and, switching to human, this thing's happening in Haiti. And all you Haitian who's never experienced it, you guys know, it's in the culture. Don't try to act like it's not. People switch to cats, dogs, and then also the spirit. They also go through the animals for certain things. And some people have fear of having dogs and cats because of that. Because if the spirit wants to mount or attack, they go through the person. Like, life is spiritual, people. There is more to that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you could do some voodoo work, and then you channel it through a dog, and then the dog would go carry out that works. Like, come on, y'all Haitian people know that. Don't try to act like, they're laughing at this lady, but the lady has a valid reason. So it's not just she's scared of the cat. There's a spirituality reason. And mama's she's not going to detail tell you. She just said she don't want a cat. She don't want a cat. That's it. But it's bigger than that. Remember, life is spiritual.
Life does not. Oh my God.
Story time. If y'all can't hear me, it's because it's raining outside. So here's what happened. Straight to the point. Back in Haiti, at that time I was 1 year old, and my mother was at my great-grandmother's house. So my great-grandmother was the type of person, she used to feed loi. Like, loi means spirit. So just to let y'all know, my great-grandmother used to feed her loi. The loi that she was serving, she used to feed it and everything like that. So one night, my great-grandmother had a voodoo ceremony for her loi. She cooked a lot of food and also had a lot of people come over to the house too to do the ceremony along with her. When they cooked the food, my mother just so happens to be at my great-grandmother's house at that time. And mind you, I was a baby. So my great-grandmother told my mom that she cannot touch the food until they come back or until the loi eats first. So me personally, I don't know what until the loi eats first. Maybe the loi, after they do the ceremony, they'll get possessed and that the person won't be there, but the loi will be there in that person's body. So they'll eat. So my mom said she sat there for maybe like 2 hours and they never came back. So she just took some food and went into the room and ate. So the next day, my grandmother had something going on at the house, and some people ended up coming to the house. And my mom left me in the room where she was because she had put me down to go to sleep. So while that was going on, everybody was at the house. My mom told me that her grandma, which is my great-grandmother, started acting real funny. Like, fidgety, like paranoid, just like, type shit. Just looking around like what's going on type stuff. So what ended up happening was my great-grandmother said, like, she ended up, after the fact, she told my mom she got possessed by her loi. And her loi led my grandmother to my mom's room, only to find a woman, don't know how she got into the house, to find a woman hovering over me with an aiguille in her hand. How you say aiguille called? A needle. She was trying to, like, drink my blood, yo. So my great-grandmother, like, cussed her out, like, told her some stuff. I think my mom told me she even, like, futu. I think she foot her on coup or something like that. Like, she hit the lady, and everybody else came and they cussed the lady out, obviously making her get out of the house. And my mom was like, when she saw the lady, she was real shocked because it was just like, yo, what the hell? So then that night, my mom said she could hear like on top of the roof that somebody was like on top of the roof. But you know, my mom told me back in the day, you can't really step foot outside the house in Haiti like past 7 o'clock because you already know what's out there. So stay your behind inside and hope and pray that whatever's on top of the roof don't get into the house. And this is also, that's another reason why people talk about cats a lot, because Haitians mostly will do that whole cat thing because cats are very flexible. They can get into small spaces. So for y'all that wanted to know. So the next day, my great-grandmother found out that it was the same woman that was hovering over me trying to drink my blood that was on top of the roof. Trying to find a way to get into the house, I don't know. So they ended up going to the woman's house. They didn't find the woman there, but they found the daughter. So what ended up happening is they cussed the daughter out. And I think it's weird because you have a child, but then again, you out trying to eat other people's kids. How that work? But then again, in Haiti, if you do voodoo, you can put something on your child to protect them from someone else who's trying to do something to them. So I think that's what my great-grandmother did to me, because a lot of things has happened to me, but it never led to anything fatal. So they ended up taking the daughter. Like my great-grandma, like she took the daughter, and they told the daughter that we're gonna keep you here until your mom come back. So they was able to get a hold of the mom. The mom came back from wherever she was, because we found out that the daughter was going out with her mom at night and eating viande timoun. Basically, viande timoun, meat. She was eating like the meat of kids. That's what her and her mom was doing together at night. Hopping around, getting people's kids and eating their flesh type stuff. So, long story short, they found the lady. They tied her up, dragged her, set her on, fire, alive, took her remainings, buried it somewhere, and they took some of her belongings and they did some stuff to it. So basically, because her family practiced voodoo too, they kept the remains from the family so the family wouldn't be able to do anything. And as for the daughter, I don't know what happened to the daughter. That's what my mom told me. Don't know what happened to the daughter. And that was it. But my great-grandmother ended up dying years later. Like, she ended up dying like in the early 2000s, because I remember my grandma got the phone call. How my grandmother passed, long story short, the law that she was serving drank her blood. That's how she passed. So they didn't do like a whole like funeral in the church. They had a voodoo ceremony for my great-grandmother. And till this day, I don't know where she's buried, because my great-grandmother, whatever she was serving, it was very powerful, and a lot of people could not stand my great-grandmother for that reason. So she's like buried somewhere that nobody knows except for the people that attended the ceremony, because they know if they find the grave, you know what they're gonna do with that body at that time. She's most likely bones and stuff. Well, kinda, because it takes a while for you to decompose. So yeah, that's what happened.
Story time on how my neighbor was a Lougawou. So at the time I was living in Haiti, and my mama had sent me to get some bread for her, and then I went outside. I saw a cat in front of the door looking at me. In Haiti, it's very weird. A cat standing in front of you, and I'm going left, the cat is going left, I'm going right, the cat is going right. And then it's like I heard the cat said, "I'm going to mama, we." So what it means in English is, "You know I know your mom?" So I was so scared, I ran. The next day, I saw the neighbor. The neighbor nodded her head, just like the cat. And then she said, "I'm going to mama, we." And this is the time I seen a Lougawou in Haiti.